Evening. Today's been okay, maybe. It's been alright. Yesterday I was pretty ill last night, actually. It was quite not funny, but yeah, I had food poisoning since Friday. I've had food poisoning since Friday. Yesterday I was like, it was alright, I managed to get to the gym, go for a jog, feel okay, but then at night I had this pie. It's camembert and mushroom pie, and it's camembert, but I'm letting myself basically eat up the stuff that is for me and is only vegetarian, that the people I live with wouldn't eat otherwise. So I'm getting rid of it rather than chucking it away or letting it go out of date and then it get chucked away. And then as I went to bed, I felt shit, and then I was just shivering. I was really cold, really bad abdominal, stomach cramps, bad headache, and I drank from 12 a.m. till about 1:30, 2. I had about 3 litres of water. And then I went to bed. Then I actually fell asleep downstairs next to the fireplace, shivering. I had a jacket on, hat and gloves, next to this fucking wood fire, really damn hot, but I was still bloody cold. Woke up today after another nearly 9 hours sleep. Night before I had 12 hours nearly, about 10 hours sleep last night, and I woke up feeling fine. Last night I watched 3 films, 3.5 actually, which time that's a big investment of time. Worth it? I don't know. I'm not going into that. But I watched, firstly, First Reformed, which is by Peter Schrader, and that made me think about how it's about a priest. Eventually, goes on essentially a suicide mission. Sounds pretty crazy. I enjoyed it. It made me think about how, even though he was essentially counselling people, he was not all there himself. Was pretty fucked up himself. That was quite a beautiful prospect, really, because it made me think about how when we read works, self-development works or philosophical works, or when we watch videos professing advice, or when we go to a counsellor and we hear this information, do this, and you think, wow, these people are perfect, they've got it all sussed out, when no, they haven't, It's like Nietzsche. He ended up spent his last decade alive insane, But then he talked about das Übermensch, the overman, the superman, self-overcoming. And that when I read his work and people have sort of learned from his work, I'm thinking wow, shit, this guy was just perfect. But in reality, no, he probably had his own insecurities and his own personal problems, and I don't know, it just made me understand the human condition a bit more, I think. How we're not perfect, we are merely human. And then I watched half of a film called Mandy with Nicolas Cage. Probably I think it is the first Nicolas Cage film I've ever put on to watch, and that shit was just batshit crazy. I might watch it another time, but it was weird. Then I showed Dad a film by the Coen brothers, Inside Llewyn Davis. I really enjoyed that film. Dad thought it was did he say that to this film? No, he said First Reformed was fucking wank, the ending, and then he hated the ending to Inside Llewyn Davis, which is understandable, but I think I don't know. Maybe I think he's a bit more inclined to shoot, bang, bang films and nice endings, But Inside Llewyn Davis, I enjoyed the cyclical nature of it, and how, to me, it told me that when shit gets hard, just keep going. If it's something you love, he goes to join the Marines, and he says no, fuck that, because he got that gig. He went through shit show after shit show, but he got that gig, and he was like, yeah, fuck the Marines, this is what I want to do, this is what my heart's telling me I want to do, and I'll get onto this in a minute. And then the third film I watched was What We Do in the Shadows, which is fucking great. I've seen it before. I put it on again last night because I was feeling like dog shit when this came on because Dad went to bed, and I think it's a fucking brilliant film. It's so witty. It's about these German vampires who go to live in New Zealand, and they are having a documentary made about them. It's the shit. It's great. It's fucking stupid. The humour's brilliant. And then tonight I watched Her, Joaquin Phoenix film, that was really good. So yeah, so I've got two trains of thought I want to talk about in this video. I don't know how long I've been talking already. First one is about what was I talking about? Inside Llewyn Davis. Inertia and distraction. That's what I wanted to talk about. Intuition and distraction, I think I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I guess, yeah, okay. Inertia kind of is analogous to distraction here. So the first train of thought is distraction. I'll go with that. And that's to do with like inertia and what was it? Fucking intuition and distraction. Okay, yeah, okay. I guess we'll get the intuition out of the way first, because the other one's a bit more of a developed train of thought, I think. But yeah, intuition is, so I used to look at things that we can arrive at everything through reason. All our choices can be made by reason. But you know, the more I'm living, the more I realise that, you know, the listen to the heart mentality has got a shit ton of merit. And I don't think we're supposed to live perfect lives, and when we, you know, go against the heart and just try reason, and this is what I should do this, you should do this. If you're not doing what your heart wants you to do, then you're going to end up dissatisfied, you know, maybe depressed, and wondering what the fuck am I doing, essentially. You know, it's not like I'm saying reason has no merit. It has a lot of merit, but there's a balance. Again, you know, yin yang, fucking whatever. Life is about balance, yeah, okay. But this is another place where that applies, I believe, heart and mind, because you know your heart can tell you what you want to do. You know, curiosity doesn't come from reason. Curiosity is imperative to finding your path, finding your mission, your purpose, you know, what you derive meaning from. Curiosity is that spark, that seed that you need to germinate. You need to help germinate. You do that through pursuing various endeavours, of which curiosity guides you towards. So yeah, where did that come from? Intuition, that was it, okay. So yeah, you listen to your heart, and then you use reason, and in the intersection, the little Venn diagram I've got here with my fingers, whatever the fuck I'm doing, in the centre is like intentionality, which I got from this book, I guess. This is just kind of made me remember. No, the what, the why, fuck knows. I'm just going to keep attempting to talk while I find this thing in this book which says the thing I'm talking about in a good way. Productivity and mindfulness, and in the middle is intentionality. That's the book anyway. But I mean, productivity, yeah. But you say productivity is like the mind, the guiding reason, and it's like, well, you know, because you can apply reason to anything. It's like, you know, how do I best wash the pots? And it's like, wait, your heart's telling me, wait, bit of a shit example, but heart's telling me, do I want to be doing this right now? What could be more productive, or whatever, you know, what do I want to be doing? What's most important to me at this moment? I say this isn't the best example, because you can say, oh, pots need to be done, whatever. But, you know, say you've got a project you're working on, mind can be, how can I best solve this? Heart can be like, wait, why am I even doing this? So when you find where those intersect, then bang, there's your purpose. And it takes a bit of, that's why I guess journaling for me has been so effective, and meditation, because in times of, I guess, meaninglessness, where I haven't had much structure, or I've been doing something which doesn't chime well with me, I've still had the capacity to not flourish, but sustain myself and not get into a depressive rut, or be quite shallow in that rut in comparison to being, drowning in it. You meditate and you become aware of what can bring you some sense of meaning in those painful times. So I guess that's that train of thought done. Second one was distraction and the path of least resistance, I guess you could put it like. So I noticed today, I was reading that book, and it made me think about how, and I watched this Man of Action series, which is a YouTube series. It's actually quite good. I think I've taken maybe a couple of things from it, but that's also another stream of consciousness about how information overload can overload you, and you end up taking nothing from a really dense, great amount of information. Anyway, got something from that source, which was, when you have distractions, you're going to get distracted, right? No shit, that's what they call distractions, Luke. But my point is that your mind wants to take the path of least resistance, and it's a thought that I kind of derived, I guess, a thought I applied to this film, Her, because in the film, Theodore Joaquin, he ends up essentially in a relationship with an operating system called Samantha, and later on in the film, his ex-wife, Catherine, basically says you can't handle human emotions, you can't handle the tumult that is found in human relationships. And then we think like, shit, he's taking that path of least resistance. It's easier to be in a relationship with an AI than it is with a person. And if you think about it, how we form mostly kind of superficial, artificial relationships over the internet, or we try to sustain our relationships through the medium that is the internet. Dating apps, Facebook Messenger, YouTube, and they get onto weird shit. Chatterbait and be porn, virtual reality shit. People dressed in MyLittlePony costumes, virtually probably. I'll give it another couple of months and that'll be around, that'll be there. That'll be a Christmas present, So yeah, it's a path of least resistance. It's easier to do that than to do the thing which is frowned upon, which is cold approach, which is shit scary. It's hard. That's hard, but it's most effective and perhaps most meaningful, because you can social game, and that's probably better, but you can attract much higher quality people if you're directly going out and meeting them on the street, let's say, or whatever, in the library, coffee shop, But it's harder, so people don't do it, or it's looked upon as bad and negative and shit, right? But busting a nut over My Little Pony porn, if no one sees you doing it, it's fine, right? But it's easier, that's the thing. But it's easier, and we don't derive as much meaning from it. And this can be applied to many things, and I just thought now, heroin, drugs, porn, anything. It's easier, it's cheap though, and it doesn't last very long, and this is a thing, it's not as fulfilling. So I guess to kind of develop this point, you can say then you want to enhance your environment, in as much as you subtract away from it those distractions. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure I did that day cold approach last week, week before, whenever it was, 2 weeks ago. I only did one approach, but yeah, I did it, that's the point. I only did that probably because I was feeling lonely and I don't talk to any girls at all, you know. Which isn't a healthy, you know, that wasn't. I knew I'd benefit from it in the future. It wasn't just fucking loneliness, but I knew that. Essentially what I'm saying is probably if I was talking to many girls in a social circle, I'd be like, nah, I don't need to because I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing. So I won't do that extra hard thing, which seems unnecessary at the moment. So I think it's important to put yourself in more uncomfortable situations and environments so you can develop those, hone in on those skills which are more fulfilling and more advantageous. And in the moment they will be necessary. In the future they won't be as necessary, but you'll have them. And that's like one of the things I think which brings about self-confidence and self-esteem. You go to the gym, you're big and you're strong, you know, you can hold your own, same with martial arts. You don't need to use it all the time, but you know you have it, and that's where you can derive a lot of confidence. So yeah, I mean, that's what I guess I found over summer. You know, I was in difficult situations and I had to act appropriate according to the environment, and from thenceforth I developed confidence. I think that's it, you know.